So the long grain rice looks a bit like old wet rice, but there's a few different things you need to do. So long grain rice is a little bit different than I'm going to call it wet rice anyway, because to be fair, even long grain rice you need a bit of water, but the way you go about it is slightly different. Now, first off, obviously you can't plant long grain rice in any normal field. This is going to be the same as the wet rice, so you're going to need to go into the construction menu and then down to your factories and then up and across to the cultivation and then down to the rice field itself. So just like the wet rice, well, what I'm going to call a wet rice, you need to build yourself a field. So you put your first one down there, put the little white circle, press there, that'll do. Press A, it starts off, then drag it out like a fence over to your next area. So we'll press A again, then go all the way up to the top like that. There we are. Put it back there in the corner. Yep. Then once you've got the 3 corners done, you could potentially make a field there. I mean, it's going to be a triangle, so that's entirely up to you. But we're going to actually make it the square of the field. So we're going to come all the way across like that. There we are. So we've got the 4 sides. They're ready to go. So once the field is ready, you're going to get the option there to say finish. So for an Xbox, it's press X. Now you do have the option to remove the last corner. So if you've placed it down and you think, oh, I don't actually like it there, if you press Y, it's going to get rid of the last one that you've done. And then you can just press Y again, it'll get rid of that one, and then so on and so on. Yeah, so if you made a little bit of a mistake, you can sort of back out of it before you've actually spent any money. But I'm quite liking that placement. I mean, you don't have to make a square field, you can make it whatever shape you like. You can make a circle if you really wanted to, but I'm okay with that style of field. So we're going to press X. Yep, that's now created the rice field. And we got ourselves a pump because unlike wet rice, well, what I'm calling wet rice anyway, where you had to fill the field with water first, you don't. Not with long grain rice. And a little bit different as well is with the short grain rice or wet rice or whatever. Yeah, you don't use the Izeki planter. You use a standard seeder. Right, okay. So, obviously the field itself, once we've got it done, that's ready to go. Now, once you put the field down, you don't need to do anything else. You can just chuck a load of seed in the ground and away you go, no problem. Now, if you're coming like a year along, 2 years along, and you've harvested it a couple of times, that's when the field prep comes into it. Now, the field prep for this is going to be the same for any of the normal fields. So you've got your ploughing every 3 harvests if you've got that turned on. You've got your lime if you've got that turned on every 3 harvests. I mean, field stones, again, if you've got that option turned on, you need to take those out, you know, just to preserve your pieces of equipment a little bit longer before they need maintenance. And basically that's your optional ones. Now you will need to cultivate at some point, unless you've gone for a seeder that's a direct drill. So if you've got a direct drill seeder, and we'll go into the menu actually, and I'll show you one that I'm on about. So seeder there, come down to this one. So it says in the bottom left hand corner, machines are used to seed crops like wheat, barley, canola. Yeah, right, fair enough. Additionally, this seeder offers the possibility to seed directly. No previous cultivating or ploughing necessary. So if you've got one of those, great. You don't need to do the cultivating. If you've got a different one, say for instance, this one, yeah, you are going to need to cultivate first. To be fair, if you've ploughed, you could seed straight onto it, no problem with any seeder. And then if you've cultivated, no problem. So if you've got a direct drill, you don't need to worry about either of those. So that's all right. Now, obviously, we've got our field done. So first time it's been placed down, it's all ready to go. It doesn't need lime. It doesn't need ploughing. We're good. So we go and get our seeder. Now I've got this filled up with seed. It's got fertilizer in there as well, because you will need to put a fertilizer on it. So if we go to the menu, we'll come across up the top. No, there we are. There we are. Right. So we've got our soil composition. So we want to come down to fertilized. So it's currently saying there's no fertilized state on this field, field number 4. So you can either use a seeder that's got a fertilizer built in, like I've got, or you can put the seed in the ground and come and fertilize after. Entirely up to you. So all you do this is you make sure it is actually on long grain rice, because it's currently on wheat. So if you press Y, LB and Y, it's going to cycle through the different types that you can put in. So we've got long grain rice just there. Great. Now we're ready to go. So you do LB and A, unfold your seed if you need to. Then we'll just back it up. We'll get to the edge of the field. Like that. There we are. It's going to finish this animation. We're all good to go. So we're going to go there like there. We're then going to do LB and B, lower it down. LB and X, turn it on. And we're seeding. Yeah, it can only be sown in the rice field. Yes, because I started it a little bit outside of the field. Right, no problem. So we're now seeding rice. So if we go back up to the menu and then back to our crop section, you can see that that strip I've done there is turned a different colour. It's now turned to this one here, long grain rice. Oh, excellent. Right, I'm going to get this field all seeded then. Right, so coming up to our last little strip, and to be fair, it's still giving me that warning, but that's because I'm overlapping the field. So you can see, I mean, it has got a different texture. I mean, the field itself is a lighter brown than the actual seeded part. So as long as it's changing colour, I wouldn't worry too much about it. So we get to the end, and then we're done. So that's the field all seeded. Great. Right, so first step. Well, how many steps are we into? That step's done anyway. Now, obviously, we've got this water pump. Now, you don't always need to put water in. And the best thing about this is it will put in what the field needs. So if you come up to it and you interact with it, and the option there for flood is greyed out, it's not giving you the chance to click on it, then it obviously doesn't need the water. Now, obviously, with the wet rice, it needed water straight away. The long grain rice doesn't. Right, so we need to wait for a little bit of growthage. Right, so 1 month into the old growthage, we've got some green shoots. Oh, fair enough indeed. Now, it says in the bottom right hand corner there, yield bonus. Now, obviously, with the field prep, with a normal field, you can sort of do it all in one day. There's a little bit of an issue personally that I've found. It may work for other people, that if you're putting fertilizer down on one, with the seeder, it's sort of, you need to wait a month before it does the next one. Well, that being said, I put fertilizer down with me seeder, and it hasn't worked. So that's interesting. So that's going to be one thing that we need to take care of. Just so happens I've got a fertilizer hooked up to the back of this tractor. So we're going to get this field done. So that should be the first state. And then we're going to take a look at the water situation. Right, so that's the fertilizing done on that one. Okay, so let's leave that there. Spin it back round. So what's it saying now? It's saying 65%. We'll have a look in the menu. So that's got one layer of fertilizer down. I don't know what happened with that one. There's fertilizer in my seeder. It didn't put it down. It's a bit random, but we've got one on there, and we'll come back next month. We'll do it again. So we'll come back to the water pump. We'll interact with it. It's now saying we can put some water in. So we've now got the option. We can highlight it. So we'll click on flood. It's going to put the water in. Good to go. Right, so I'm going to see you back here next month. So here we are. We're in June now, so a month later, and it's looking a little different. Yeah, a little bit more fuller. Okay. So what we need to do, again, check the map. So we've still got that one fertilized state. So we're going to need to go over it again with our tractor and our fertilizer. So I'm going to quickly do that. Right, so that's the second load of fertilizer down. So we'll just turn that off and we'll stop. Oh, I've stopped the engine. I didn't just turn the fertilizer off. I turned everything off. But all right, no problem. So now, let's have a look what it's saying. It's saying yield bonus 87%. Okay, fair enough. That being said, owned by you, yield bonus fertilized 100%. No problem. So we're going to come across to the water pump again, interact with it, left stick in, and then it's giving us the option to flood it again. So we'll put the water in. I'm going to see you back here in July. So we're back in July, and to be fair, it still looks the same. So maybe there's it didn't do much growing in that point. But if we come across to the water pump, we do need to add some more in. So water level too low, we'll flood it, away we go. Right, okay, so we just need to keep an eye on that. So like every month, as you get back to the same sort of time, just come across, make sure it's got enough water in. No problem. Right, I'm going to see you in August then. Right, we've got a bit more growth now. Now it's getting taller. Oh, that's looking very nice indeed. So we still got the fertilised 100%. That's all right. Yield bonus is saying plus 87%. That's very good. So we'll come over here. We'll check the water. Does it need any more? No, it doesn't. So it looks like once you get to August. So what's that? So we planted April, May, had water, June had water, July had water, and now August. So it looks like it needs 3 months worth of water, and then we're good to go. Okay, I'll see you back here next month then. Right, so here we are. We're in September. We'll have a little look. Yep, ready to harvest on the growth stage. Oh, we're good to go. We're good to go. Now, unlike the short grain rice, wet rice, we'll call it that. The other rice anyway. You don't need a specialist harvester. You just need a normal one with a normal header. I mean, I've gone and got the old sports harvester because, it's gold and why not? So we're going to use that. So we'll unfold the actual harvester header. No, we want to start the engine first. Okay, we'll unfold it. There we are. Right. Now we're good to go. Once it's finished its animation, and you just go through it like you would do a normal field. So we'll do LB and X, turn it on, LB and B, lower the header down, and away you go. Oh, we're harvesting long grain rice. Oh, that's ace. Now, question is, can we do a straw swap? No, it doesn't give a straw swap off. So if you're looking for straw, yeah, maybe not do long grain rice. But apart from that, oh, that looks ace. Right, let's get cracking with this build then. So we're coming up to the last little section, and to be fair, that was fairly easy. I mean, obviously with a big enough harvester and big enough header, it's gonna do most fields pretty quick. I mean, the wet rice one, that did take a while, but alright, fair enough. So we'll turn that off, and obviously you're going to need to transport it somewhere, and all you need really is just a standard trailer, because all the base game ones take the long grain rice anyway. So I've got a standard trailer here. We're going to back up, we're going to offload into the trailer like that, and we're away. Job's a good one. Now obviously there is a timing on this whole thing. Now if you go into the menu and then go to the crop calendar, you'll notice there, long grain rice, you can only plant it, seed it, whatever you want to call it, in April, and you can only harvest it in September. That's if you're playing with the seasons on. If you're playing with the seasons off, we'll go and turn it off. We'll go turn it off. There we are. Right, so game settings, then come down to seasonal growth. Why did it do this? Every now and again, I come into the menu and it doesn't let me go further than the traffic. You just need to go up. And that sort of sorts it out. All right, it must be a little bug or something. So if you go to no, turn it off, and then go back up to there, you can plant it whenever you like and harvest it whenever you like. So obviously that depends on what sort of game you're playing. If you're going ultra realistic, then you're going to be planting in April and harvesting in September. If you're not, then you can do it whenever you like. Obviously you're still going to have to wait once you've planted it for it to grow. That time frame doesn't change, but when you plant it and when you harvest it, that's entirely up to you. And especially if you're using the game without seasons, it doesn't wither either. You can leave it as long as you like, which is a good thing. Now obviously once you've got it, you can put it in your silo, no problem. You can store it. If you're playing the game where you want to get the best price for it, you can put it in a silo, wait for the better price. So if we go into this menu and then down to there and go across to the prices, we'll come down to long grain rice. Now all these outputs are in alphabetical order, so we'll go down to the owls. There we are. So the best price is going to be actually in August, the month before you harvested it. Isn't that always the way? So that's going to give you 1,666 per 1,000 litres. Right, okay, now we have got a few options on the go there where you can sell the stuff, or we can make it a little bit better. I'm just going to show you that over the other side of the field. So if you don't fancy just selling it straight and you want to take it the next stage, well, we've got a few things here. So first off, you can turn it into rice flour. Now, if you've got a grain mill, you can come down to here like that. There you are, production chain menu there. So you're going to be able to make, we go into that one there, long grain rice into rice flour. Obviously, chuck your stuff into there, and then around the back is going to be your pallet spawn point. Once you've made it into rice flour, you can then take that rice flour and put it into the bakery. So you've got your pallet spawn point just there, production chain menu here, so you can make some rice bread or rice cake. And then obviously we'll come off of there, you've got your pallet spawn point round the back. Now, if you didn't want to double production chain it, you could just turn it into cereal. So you've got your loading in point, pallet spawn point, then production chain menu just there for you. So that is going to make it into long grain rice for your cereal. And then if you didn't fancy doing that one, you could turn it into oil. So you've got your pallet spawn point just there. The loading in point is round the back for this oil mill. And then you've got your production chain menu at the front just here. So we'll click on that one. There we are. So we can be making long grain rice oil from that one. And if you didn't fancy doing that, we've got this as the last option. So it's going to be your preserved food factory. So you've got your pallet spawn point just there. And then round the back is going to be your loading in point. Then at the front, well, to the side a little, you've then got your production chain menu. And you're going to be able to make, well, basically rice boxes and bags. So you've got your rice bag just there, long grain rice. You come down and you've got your rice box, long grain rice there. So if you don't fancy just selling it off, turn it into something else. Oh, why not? Now, what you want to do, if you want to change that field back to something normal. All right, I see you back there. So if you've done a harvest of rice and think, do you know what? I want to go back to something a little more traditional. Right, if you go back into the construction menu and then come across to the field, and then press Y to go into demolition mode. You then got that option there, remove it. A. There you are. Do you want to remove the rice field? Okay. The rice field's gone. It's just now a flat plain. I mean, it's got a few tire tracks where we've been, mind you, but you can plough it out. No problem. Oh, fair enough.